Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the J Lounge. Of course, you guys know I am your hostess with the mostest, Miss J, aka Miss Simone Jackson, here to bring you guys another great episode of the J Lounge. Of course, you guys know the J Lounge is a celebrity-based podcast show where we talk to actors, directors, singers, writers, authors, you name it. As always, I'm very excited to be introducing my next guest. My next guest is a rising poet and writer here to talk about her poetry and her love of writing. And I cannot wait for you guys to get to know her. Please give a super warm welcome to Yewande Akinse. Hi, Yewande.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for giving me your time. I appreciate you for being here. I'm very excited to be speaking with you, and I'm very excited for my guests to know about you as well.
Sure. Let's
Yeah.
get let's get in.
Yes, absolutely. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and fire the first question at you. What began your passion for poetry and writing?
Um, okay, I would say it started in the year 2009, and it started from me trying to make sense of my emotions, make sense of my feelings, and writing became that way of escape for me. And it was a way for me to understand the world, a way for me to understand my emotions, and
Mhm.
practically it kept me busy. um, so over time, it became my safe space.
Mhm.
Whenever I, I'm not the type that talks too much about my problems to people
Oh, I get that.
unless it's really extreme.
Mhm.
So what I do is that I just write about it.
Yeah.
And it has always been my safe space. And initially, it became um, a medium of self-expression, and over time, it has become my voice and a way to speak about issues, a way to speak even to the next generation. So now, writing for me is about legacy these days.
I love it. I love the honesty too about writing keeps you busy. I get it. You gotta have something to
Yes.
fill, but you gotta have something to fill the days. I mean, I'm telling you, you gotta have something. And I'm right there with you. I'm not someone that really, talks about my problems unless it's with like my closest friends. And I've been friends with people since I was the fourth grade. So those are the only people that I share. So I get it. This is why I do podcasting, because I can talk to people who have similar, who have similar feelings the same way about I do about same topics. So I get you there.
Yeah.
I get you there. Going on to the next question. Name three people who influenced your career and why.
Um, First I would say my dad, because my father was a poet. He,
Ah,
yes, my father used to write poems. It was actually when I started writing poems that he told me that while he was younger, he also used to write poems. I didn't know that about my father until I started writing. And he actually edited my first set of poems. And I guess I got that from him,
mhm.
even without me knowing. So I would say yes, that's the first person that has influenced my writing and my writing career. Um, well, I think that's actually the most important person that has influenced. And another person I would say is my daughter. My most recent collection of poems titled The Rise and Fall of Rhymes and Rhythms was actually inspired by her
Oh,
and dedicated to her. Like in that book, I just decided to write because I don't know how much time I have left, and I just decided to write something for her that regardless of what happens in the future, she would always have a piece of me to hold on to have and to hold. And that book became a way of me speaking to the next generation. And I know the book is kind of preachy sometimes because it was just a way of speaking. I was just writing to speak,
Yeah.
like writing, like, okay, I can see her in front of me and the things I would like to tell her about
Mhm.
important topics.
Yeah.
So, yes. So, my father, my daughter, I guess those are the two people that have really inspired me on this journey. Um, but I've been fortunate to read the works of many writers. Um, but over time, I've been able to find my voice and
Mhm.
to write in my own style.
Yeah, absolutely. I love your choices. I love all your choices. Shout out to Dad being the number one inspiration. Uh,
Mhm.
didn't, you guys have that now, you guys have that, um, you guys have that to share, that talent to share. You guys both love poetry. Poetry is such an amazing way to express thoughts and just, way of expression. So I love that. And I love how you wrote poetry for your daughter as well, for when she grows up in the future, because you know, the future's gonna look totally different for her. They'll, look
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
yeah, like I'm a 90s baby. I'm not trying to make myself old now, but I'm a 90s
Yes,
baby.
I'm a
So I
90s
came
baby
from,
too.
yes, yes,
I know definitely the future is going to be very different.
very
Uh,
different, a
yeah,
whole
very,
different landscape.
yeah,
It's exciting. It's kind of scary to, because we had something a lot simpler, back, we had
yeah.
our 90s commercials, our Play-Doh, our all that kind of stuff that, so it's going to be very interesting to see, in the next 30 years where the future will, be. So, oh, oh my goodness. But I love that
Fingers
though.
crossed.
Yes, I know. I know. Right? Fingers crossed. Ah. Going on to the next question. Can you describe your poetry style?
Oh yes. My poetry style is actually very simple, authentic, and relatable. That's actually, for some people believe that poetry is something that has to be very vague to be of good quality. It has to always be difficult to understand. But I do not belong to that school of thought. Although my poetry is not literal in the sense of reading it to understand everything, of course, there's still the use of literary devices. But I strongly believe that poetry is not something that should have too many hidden meanings, or else it comes across as very vague and just difficult to grasp.
Mhm.
So my writing is simple, my style is authentic to me, and I aspire with my works to be relatable.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. I would say raw as well.
Hmm.
Raw,
Yeah.
relatable, and authentic.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And that plays perfectly into my next question for you, Rwandi. For first time listeners or readers of your poetry, what poem would you suggest they listen or read to understand who you really are as a poet?
Ah, okay. I would say the poem Dreams.
Oh, why?
Yeah, it's a short poem. It's a 10-line poem written as a design. And um, it's a poem I wrote for my daughter. Yeah. And a poem dedicated to young people. And it's just about dreams, not giving up on your dreams and following it through regardless of how hard it gets. Um, for me, poetry is my dream.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, I love that.
yeah, it's something I've always envisioned myself doing ever since I discovered that being a writer is an immortal thing to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Ever since then, I've taken my writing seriously, regardless of the many challenges I faced in my journey. I still hold on to it, even though some people will ask me what is the commercial value of poetry, uh, and my answer is you will not know in this lifetime, but many people coming after me will get to know. So writing is something that transcends generations, and it is a way to speak into the future. Anyway, I wrote that poem Dreams dedicated to young people everywhere to hold on to their dreams regardless of how hard it gets and to follow through regardless of what the naysayers may say.
Can I get an amen? I I agree to that. And I love that you title that poem Dreams because I think that ties in beautifully to what you just said. Especially, when someone asks you what's the commercial value of poetry, and you go, I won't know in this lifetime because it's true. It's just like artists. No one really appreciates the artist until after they're gone. That's when everything goes up, and so yeah, what you speak is the truth. And poetry, being a poet and being a writer right now really is powerful. You can reach so many people now through social media through words. So that is yeah, I love that. I love that. And I hope my audience is listening. Make sure you guys listen or read Dreams to really get who Yewande is as a poet. Alrighty, going on to the next question. Could you tell us where can my audience follow you and your work on social media?
Yes, I'm active primarily on X, and I share a lot of my works because X allows me to freely share links and also allows me to connect with the writing community. So I'm
Mhm.
on X at AD1Day, and I'm very active there, and I follow back.
I love that. I love that. And I highly encourage my audience, make sure you follow Yewande Akinse on Twitter. I call it Twitter. I refuse to call it X. I'm gonna be that person. It's Twitter, darn it. Anywho, and Threads. And make sure you follow her poems, and make sure you give us follow, shout out, support. We want to see more of her work. Going into the next question. What future projects are you involved with that you can give a dish about to the J Lounge audience?
Oh, sure. I'm currently working on a collection of poems for children, and yeah, but these poems are um, designed for very early readers. So it's heavily more of a heavily illustrated book. It's like a picture book with just few words, just couplets, about 5 poems, and it's just to raise awareness on the environment and to instill in the youngest readers a sense of environmental stewardship. Um, yeah, it's a work in progress, and it will be published by the end of this year.
How exciting! Well, make sure you keep us here at the J Lounge posted so we know more about that as that comes along. And of course, I encourage my audience, make sure you guys keep posted up by following and supporting Awadi to check out when that follows and when that drops. Alrighty, going on to the next question. What goals do you hope to accomplish in your career that you haven't yet?
Ah, yes. There are some platforms I like to be published in, like to have my poems published, like in the New Yorker,
Yeah.
um, and a lot of publications, and also to have all my works till date have been self-published. So with the next work, I intend being traditionally published, getting an agent, the whole 9 yards. And yes, I guess that's what's next for me. Getting traditionally published and
Hmm.
an agent.
Yes. Yes, and I'm keeping all my fingers crossed for you, sending all the good vibes. An agent will find you soon, pick you up, and you will see more of your work, and it'll be more everywhere. So I'm gonna keep that hope and praise, sending out the good vibes, sending out all the good vibes. Of course. Going on to the next question. Name three poets who influenced your career and why. I know
Oh,
the number one is your dad.
okay, yeah, I would say my dad. Even though he did not write poetry extensively, One thing about him is that he lived the poem. He was it was very I wouldn't say my dad was an armchair philosopher, but he was a philosopher and he had a lot of ideals that he lived up to and he held himself to very strict standards in life. Um Another poet that I truly admire is Maya Angelou. I admire her activism. I admire her consistency across decades. And yeah, I admire how she was able to use poetry as a tool for social change. And it's deeply moving and inspiring how poetry can be just more than mere words on a page or on a
Hmm.
stage, and how poetry can truly move people and influence policy. She really truly lived the dream. Um, Another poet I truly admire is Mary Oliver. Uh, I look at her works and I'm truly inspired, particularly her writings on nature and on the natural world. Those pieces were truly moving, those works, and her dedication to language, how well she uses language to convey meaning, to convey purpose, and to inspire generations. Yes, those are the people that poets that those are the three poets that truly inspire me.
I love those choices, Wawandi. I love those choices. Those are amazing. And one day you're going to be on the list of poets who inspired people.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised when the tables turn and you hear your name. It's going to happen for you one day.
Yes.
But yeah, I love those choices. Those are awesome. All right, just a couple more questions for you, Wandi. Going on the next question. What other passions do you have outside of poetry and writing?
My other passions, I would say, um, I have a passion for supporting people and supporting the dreams of people. Like when a person tells me their dream, for example, I look for ways to amplify it, look for ways to support it.
Yeah.
And yes, I found myself, there was this LinkedIn year in review that LinkedIn did at the end of the year in last month. And one thing, like, you know, everybody gets like a LinkedIn analysis of their personality type. And
Oh,
from that, LinkedIn called me an amplifier because I spent the whole year sending um, opportunities to people, to those in my network who are looking to gain scholarships, for example, those in my network that are entrepreneurs. So I actually spent the whole year just sending opportunities to people that, hey, um, check this out. Have you seen this? So yeah, so that's one thing I do when I'm not writing or working. I'm just always looking for ways to support the dreams and aspirations of other people because I strongly believe in the power of dreams and how everybody has the right to have their dreams come true.
amen. Yes, can say a lot for the people in the back. I completely agree. I love it, and that's why you have one of your poems named Dreams. It just ties in beautifully, and I agree with the same thing. This is why I do my podcast. I just like talking to other people and hope that being on the podcast opens up other opportunities for you.
Yeah.
So, I just yes, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. That is
Thank
amazing.
you.
All right, Wandi, last question here for you. For other aspiring poets who are hoping to be just as successful as you, any advice you would give them?
One advice I always give is this. I hope that you keep writing and I hope it sets you free. And those words encapsulate my hope and aspiration for myself first and then for others. That writing becomes that thing, that activity, that endeavor that ultimately saves you. Yeah.
I love that. And I hope my audience is listening, taking that in, taking that great advice in. Keep writing no matter what. I agree. Just keep writing. Just keep writing. Oh, Yewande, you have been such a pleasure to be able to speak with today. I really appreciate you for giving me your time and really sharing your creativity, passion with my audience. And I have no doubt they'll definitely follow you, support you, and definitely check out your poetry. And I do appreciate you for sharing that today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, of course. I want to remind everyone one more time. I am Ben, your hostess with the mostest, Miss J. And of course, I want to thank my amazing audience, my incredible guest, Yewande Akinse. And I want to remind everyone I will be back with another great episode here soon. Till then, have a wonderful day. Bye.
Bye.